Hey guys, it's been a little over a year since my last video, so I just want to do an update before we get started. The reason that I've been gone is actually I fell into the river in Lego City and I've been stuck there ever since. Hey! But seriously, if you had followed me on Twitter in late 2018, early 2019, you would have seen I definitely wasn't in the best state of mind, but I took some time off. I kind of figured out what I want to do more, and this is something that I really want to do. I want to keep making videos on here. I wanted to apologize for the complete lack of content for the last year. I basically only threw out 4 videos and then disappeared, and I intend to definitely make more, and this will be the beginning of that. Also, I wanted to say thank you guys so much for the reception that I got for the first LEGO Browser Games video. The last time I checked, it was over 1,600 views or something like that, which just doesn't really even make sense to me. Like, I assumed at most maybe I'd get like 300 or something. Views have never really been my goal, they never really were my goal, but I'm very happy to be able to share these things that I care about so much that I feel like not a whole lot of people know about. It's just been very encouraging seeing the comments, people asking for certain games that they remember. I'm writing all of them down, so if you haven't commented, feel free to do that and I'll take note of that and potentially make a video on that in the future, or some of them are even included in this video. So thank you guys again, and today we're doing LEGO Browser Games Part 2, finally. If you haven't already watched Volume 1, click that annotation above, as long as I remember to put it there. Basically, I'm taking a look at internet browser games that LEGO used to have up on their official website in the last 20 years or so. They've taken a lot of them down, but luckily groups like the Biomedia Project have sprung up to revive them. Not all of the games have been saved yet, but that's also why I'm making this series, to raise awareness so that we can get those games back and be able to play them again. So, without further ado, let's get back to it. First up, the LEGO Harry Potter Virtual Castle Tour. This was released to coincide with the Harry Potter relaunch back in 2010. The Deathly Hallows movies were coming to theaters, so LEGO decided to step back up after taking years off from the franchise and cash back in on it. I'm not blaming them though. When they're putting out Harry Potter sets, it's generally the best stuff that they have available at the time. It's as if every one of their best designers spends days on end just perfecting the Easter eggs and details on the facades. But anyway, the tour. It's a pretty simple point-and-click journey through the Hogwarts Castle and Diagon Alley sets that were out at the time. You click on arrows on the sides of the screen to rotate the sets so that you can enter the different buildings and rooms. In those rooms, you either get an item or are redirected to another page where that item is hidden. It's a clever way to get people to check out the whole site while promoting LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4. And I have to really give props to the Biomedia Project here. They made it so that instead of going nowhere when you click on those links, the site works just like it did back in 2010. Bravo, you guys. You start at Ollivanders, then head to Gringotts and Borgin and Burke's. The way you get between Diagon Alley and Hogwarts is by the vanishing cabinet that Draco used to smuggle Death Eaters into Hogwarts in Half-Blood Prince. Sure, it's a spoiler, but whatever. In Hogwarts, you travel between the Great Hall, the library's restricted section, Dumbledore's office, the Slytherin Common Room, and the Owlry.
The owls are not what they seem.
Every couple of items you put down or exchange, you get a secret poster, which is essentially a LEGO version of one of the film's posters. Not everyone had a minifigure at the time, so it was cool to see characters like Cedric and Fleur, even if they didn't translate all that well.
The horror. The horror.
The best unlockable is the last one, a poster of all of the minifigures from the 2010 wave of sets. I've always loved just looking at all the figures in one place and having it available as a checklist of sorts, so I appreciate that being the grand prize of this quick little game. So check it out if you want to, and if you have any trouble, just remember the immortal words of Albus Dumbledore.
I never liked these curtains.
Next up is Bionicle's Piraka Attack, which is basically the less disturbing Binding of Isaac. Okay, maybe it's just as disturbing. A little backstory if you didn't know. The Piraka line came out in 2006 at a really weird time for the franchise. We were on the 4th or 5th generation, and rather than come out with heroes and some villains for them to fight, we just had a wave of villains. It was a pretty jarring and noticeable change of pace that gave us the hottest rap track of the 2000s. Yeah, you know the one.
Yo, yo, Piraka. Yo, yo, Piraka.
You had Hakan, Vezok, Zakatan, Avok, Raydek, and Thok.
Fuck versus fuck.
They were left to torture all of these helpless Matoran villagers just because they were jerks. That was until the Toa and Nika came along with the coolest toy commercial ever made. But rather than capitalize on my favorite Bionicle wave, they made a game set in the era where the Piraka were bullying a bunch of tiny boys. You choose between the 6 Piraka, who all have different strength, agility, speed, and intelligence. I say that, but at the same time, I didn't notice any real difference between them when I played. The game is actually 2-player, but having 2 people play the same game on the same keyboard is not how I wanted to spend my weekend, so I chose 1 player. There are a variety of power-ups you can pick up to help you better put the villagers in their place, including a long shot, rapid fire, 3-shot, and shield abilities. The controls are pretty simple. Just move around with the keys and aim and shoot by moving and clicking the mouse. You start out in this icy area and first encounter these little stone-based Matoran that mob you like a bunch of zombies. Then you meet the Ice Matoran, who can shoot you from pretty much anywhere despite not even looking at you half the time when they do it. There's also these grass or air types that just kind of run at you, but not in a mob like the zombies, more like they have rabies. Once you reach the grassy area, you encounter these earth element ones. I'm not really sure what they do because by the time I reached them, my dedicated mouse stopped working, so I had to stop playing. And that's all I really have to say about Piraka Attack. Did they attack? They sure did. Okay, let's go back to that All-American Rejects commercial, please. Okay, before I start this next one, just look at how excited Indiana Jones gets when you hover over him. He's like that one guy that was an extra in that one show at Comic-Con that's hoping that you're going to pay for an autograph. Last time I covered the first level in the Indiana Jones adventure game called the Boulder Scene, based on that scene with the boulder. This time, I found the full game and decided to take a look at the second mission called I Hate Snakes. Control-wise, it's identical to the Boulder Scene. You hover over the treasure to collect it, and click on hazards in advance to either get rid of them or avoid them. He uses his whip to smash the vases, jumps over tiles that are hiding snakes underneath, and uses the force to turn switches so that he can whip up to new platforms. Just like he always does, Indy makes it out alive to fight another day. I originally wanted to cover the rest of the levels in this video, but when I started playing the horse level, I realized a horrible truth. It was actually pretty hard. Or buggy. I'll just say it was my fault. Next time, I promise to give it more than a college try. As long as I get 50,000 views and 400,000 likes and 45,000 comments, buy my merch at Teespring. Have you guys heard of Raid Shadow Legend? Now the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right, Ultimate Lightsaber Duel is still not available anywhere. Yeah, it's been a year and no update there. But for real, let's take a look at a game that you actually came here to see. LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars, The Quest for R2-D2. I actually just watched the Season 7 premiere of The Clone Wars before writing this, so I'm in full Clone Wars hype mode. The Quest for R2-D2 was actually an animated short released back in 2009. The short, much like the game, centers around Anakin trying to rescue R2-D2 for some reason. The film reveals that R2 doesn't have any Republic secrets stored inside of him, but instead tickets to Skywalker World. That's right, people. From the people that brought you Glove World and Krusty Land, now the homicidal war hero who would go on to kill children and then inspire his son to almost do the same, has a theme park. And look at that! Lego sets in the background. The fourth wall hasn't just been broken, it's been shattered. As for the game, my laptop just straight up can't run it. That's not to say it can't still be played today, but I messed around with downloading Unity and then uninstalling it and then reinstalling it and uninstalling it and deleting Chrome and re-downloading Chrome before I thought, hey, I'll just credit someone for the footage and talk about it. The quest for R2-D2 is a 3D brawler, a platformer. It sure is something, and something that a whole lot of people really like, myself included. At first you choose between Anakin and Asajj Ventress, and essentially play through the same level just going right or left depending on who you choose. Eventually you unlock Obi-Wan and Count Dooku as playable heroes, but from what I've seen and remember, they don't really change a whole lot of gameplay. The story goes that, much like the short is based on, R2-D2 is lost and transmitting some kind of code that both the Republic and Separatists need. It's up to you to decide who gets it. As far as controls, you use the arrow keys to move, Z to jump, X to swing your lightsaber, Z and X together to use the Force, and tap the right arrow twice plus X to perform a dash attack. You fight legions of battle droids or clone troopers depending on who you're playing as, and collect these crystals while making your way to the end of over a dozen stages. Every so often, you get a platinum brick that can be used to upgrade Anakin and Asajj's various abilities. All in all, it's fairly standard stuff for a console Lego game, but I think one of the reasons this was so big and revolutionary was because it was online. It was on Lego.com at a time when most of the other games were much easier to make and complete by comparison. I wish that I could play it on my laptop, but for now I'm just happy to relive memories of the Clone Wars, and not in a PTSD kind of way. Last up on the list is one that I have a special connection to, Junkbot and its sequel, Junkbot Undercover. If you don't remember him, Junkbot was almost a mascot of sorts for Lego.com and especially their browser games back in the early 2000s.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage.
And had you moving colored bricks around the stage to help Junkbot get around. The story basically follows Junkbot as he collects trash through different buildings, avoiding obstacles that were put in place to stop him from doing his job. Seriously, these other robots are promoting pollution or something. There are about 60 levels or rooms in the first game, with 15 per building, and hazards coming at you from every angle like different robots, water taps, and even these fire platforms.
Oh, the burning!
The sequel, Junkbot Undercover, features the titular robot investigating the mysterious Project X in another 60 plus levels that play out basically the same as the original, albeit with some new hazards like lasers. I used to play these games almost as much as the Orient Expedition Golden Dragon Challenge back in the day, and they still hold a special place in my heart today. But why did I save these ones for last? That's because...
It's gone. It's all gone.
What's all gone?
Junkbot.
It didn't do too well. It's gone.
Just like Ultimate Lightsaber Duel, you pretty much can't play Junkbot or Junkbot Undercover anywhere. Luckily, there's some footage of both of them on YouTube, so I can still talk about them. But if you wanted to play them today, you'd need the Adobe Shockwave plugin. Unlike the Quest for R2-D2, which needed just a little more computer experience than I currently have, getting an outdated and unavailable plugin to run a game from 2001 on a modern computer is like 3 or 4 steps above that. So add this to the list of LEGO browser games I wish were more readily available or available again in the first place. Hello, it's Bernie Sanders. I am once again asking you for your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions. Thank you all. God bless.
no, I'm not brave enough for politics.
So I've got some ideas for the future of the channel, but in the meantime, if this video gets 400,000 likes, 600,000 comments, just millions of subscribers, I will give away a house. I'll give away my house. I'll give away an entire neighborhood full of houses. I will give away cars, the entire dealership. Just all for you. Have you guys played Raid Shadow Legends?
Thank you for sticking around. Check out my old videos if you're interested, and I've got a few ideas for videos coming up. Lord knows I could talk for hours about this final season of the Clone Wars, but there are a lot of other topics I wanted to cover last year and never got a chance to. Also, this will not be the final part of the LEGO Browser Games series, so be sure to comment below any more that I should check out for Volume 3. I'm going to try my hardest in general to upload at least more often than once a year. I mean, that was ridiculous. I'm thinking about making a new Twitter account and possibly an Instagram account to post updates to. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon.